Hello, 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 everybody. I'm Andrea, and I'm back with From Mrs. to Ms. And we have our wonderful guest co-host with us back again today. Michelle is in the house. How's it going,
Hello.
Michelle?
It's going. Is it
It's
cocktail
going.
hour yet?
It's always cocktail hour somewhere, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess
Yeah,
that's true.
pretty sure it is. I know the whole 5 o'clock somewhere, but I think from the different time zones, I think it's covered across the board. You can have it whenever you want it. You're
That's
good.
true.
What's your drink of choice? I don't think I
Tequila.
know this. Oh, that's right. I do know
I'm
this.
a sipping
You're like, I'm
tequila
a
type of girl.
partier.
I'm like an
Tequila.
añejo or reposado type girl. Yeah.
Oh, and you like
hmm
it straight. Just sip on
Yeah,
it.
it actually became a health thing. Like wine, I love. It's so full of sugar, and the
Okay.
hangovers were awful. And I felt so bad after having a glass or two or three. And tequila, you can just keep sipping. The love keeps on giving. No, it's
Oh,
because it's based from agave,
yeah,
so it's a
yeah, yeah.
natural
It's like a,
upper, and
yeah.
there's no sugar in it, so it's healthy. Well,
Oh,
as
I
healthy as
mean, let's,
alcohol can be.
yeah.
It is a healthier option. There we go.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
What
That's
about you?
good. I kind of switch it up because I really like fruity drinks, but of course, all the sugar, it's just
Yeah,
terrible.
yeah.
So then I stick to like just a vodka tonic, boring,
Ah,
nothing. But I really liked one of my favorite drinks, and I thought I invented it myself because I went up to the bar and I was like, I really feel like a Shirley Temple and throw some vodka in that bad boy. And I'm like,
I would
yeah,
feel like I was 13 again
like
with
a
a buzz.
child.
12.
Well, of course, the bartender's like, "Oh, you want a dirty Shirley?" And I'm like, "God damn it! I thought
I
that was
didn't know that
mine,
existed.
dirty
I think
Shirley."
that suits it very well.
It's perfect, right? I was like,
Yes.
"Oh God, I wish I thought of that one. That was a good one." I thought I did. Well, we are back this week, and we've got some more fun topics for everybody. We're going to talk about today. We've been chatting about, is there space for a man in your life? One man,
Yeah.
two men, how
Well,
many
I was
men?
going to say how many men?
It depends on how many
I
you're
can't
trying to
fit
fit in.
one.
We
So,
thought it was just a really good topic because both Michelle and I are super busy all the time, but we also talk about dating a little bit here and there. And where do we fit those guys into that lifestyle? Whether it's in between our jobs, our friends, our family, whatever it might be. How do you do it? What do you do? Tell me.
well, I've been dating long distance, so it's very easy to fit time. There's nothing to fit.
But do you
I've
like
also
that? I
been,
want to interject on that
yeah,
because long
yeah.
distance doesn't work for me, but I know it kind of does for you. But was the last
Uh,
one the first time you'd really done it, or was that
no, gosh,
no?
I'm a veteran. No, I've dated long distance off and on since I was 29. I most of the
Wow.
time I wouldn't find anyone in my area where
Hmm.
I lived. I was going to give off the space. I'm like,
Don't
I'm
do
not going
that.
to tell you where I live. It's a secret. I actually found that I loved international men. I don't want to generalize, but I find the Canadian men boring.
Oh,
So, and lacking individuality. So I dated long distance all the time. It worked
okay.
for me because I was a single mom. So what I would do is I would actually pin those 2 or 3 days that I'd go see them or they'd come see me. I'd always
Hmm.
make sure to be childless.
Was it more, did you find it more exciting or exhilarating because you hadn't seen him and then you get to go see him for 3 days?
Okay, that sure, but I've learned to realize that is not the case. It is lovely excitement that builds up to this kind of a anticlimactic. In other words, you get there, you're so excited to see them. It's so great. But of course, sometimes you're relearning how to be together again.
Yeah.
Because if it's been 2 months, 3 months, depending how far away you are, if it's
Yep.
only been 2 weeks, no big deal. But if it's been 2 months and you haven't seen someone in 2 months, you have to connect again. Right. And so for
Absolutely.
me, I found that I would travel, I'd be so excited and it would be this big buildup. And then at the end of the trip, if we hadn't booked a trip to see each other
Hmm.
again,
Hmm.
this horrible crash, this emotional withdrawal, and like it's like pulling apart Velcro. You're like,
Yeah.
you go back to your space, they remain wherever they were. And I think it's a very unhealthy feeling
Yeah.
because you're not really getting a natural sense of who you and they are
Hmm.
in one space. Like, in other words,
Hmm.
if you're traveling, there's all that excitement. Well, of course, it's going to be great. course it's gonna be
Right.
exciting. But
Right.
then if you bring them and they moved into your house for a month, I guarantee you,
It's going to be
you're going to see all
100%
the
different.
cracks. You're going to, yeah, it's so different.
Yeah,
So.
I agree, because I think when you have just those moments on the weekend, I mean, you have everything set out and planned and you know what you're going to do and you have that excitement to see each other, and it's a couple days and then you're out.
Exactly.
I just
It's
don't
not
think
realistic though.
No, it's not. And I don't know that I can even do it from the aspect of like, for me, I want a companion that I can hang out with in the evenings and watch TV with, and just have somebody like spur of the moment. I can be like, hey, do you want to go see a movie or something like that? That's not happening if he's in Canada or somewhere else, so that makes it super difficult. I don't think I'd like it. I like a person right here in the crook of my neck.
Well, I think long distance also poses some bigger problems of, women want to feel safe and supported. And I'll never forget, my car broke down at the side of the road and I was dating someone, well, by ferry and driving, it was about 3 hours. If you got on a plane, it was like an hour and a half, but here's me at the side of the road, gasoline all over the ground, and I'm crying. And even if he wanted to get to me, he couldn't get to me till the next day. Do you know what I mean? So with long distance, you have to be comfortable that you're going to be feeling very independent a lot of the time. And I think the big things are, you never leave each other without booking the next trip. That was always my secret to success. And then I think after a year, you have to have a plan that one of you has to move, because I think if you don't have those basics, you're not going to last forward. But that show 90 Day Fiance, have you ever watched it?
I have. My kids are
gosh.
obsessed with it.
I mean, this is the thing. When I watch that, it's train wrecks, constant train wrecks.
Because why do you think that is?
Because you're on vacation when you meet these people, or you're traveling, you're having the time of your life. It's not your real life. So you meet these people, it's a high, then you come back. And especially with 90 Day Fiance, these people are international. We're talking Egypt, Africa. And I always think it's so funny that this romance is so beautiful and so easy. You're doing everything on Zoom and FaceTime. Of course, it's easy. You're not sitting in front of each other dealing with day-to-day issues. But then what's really sad is when you watch the show, are you taking into account, that person doesn't have skills in the country they're normally coming to. They don't speak necessarily the language. They don't understand the cultural differences. Will they accept your way of living? Like, I have OCD. Is someone to come into my space and like move stuff around?
It's pretty tidy back there. I'm in front of a wall because you don't need to see what's going on over here.
But this is the thing. I think, again, it's this beautiful fairy tale when you're far away from each other. And it's very magical. But then I'm telling you, every time I've done a long distance, that person's come to stay with me for at least 3 weeks. I'm like, nope. So, cultural differences.
I feel like this happened not too long ago to you. You were like, okay, time to go. I didn't say it.
But even how we were talking, like, the whole basis of this podcast is, how do you find time for a relationship with these full lives we're leading, us awesome women? Long distance, I think, is easier sometimes because you can go, okay, I'm going to plan off these 2 days. I'm going to do this. But I have to say, I've been watching some of my girlfriends exhaust themselves being on apps and trying to date and work and raise kids. And I'm watching them. And then I was thinking about the last time I dated and how I don't want to give my spare time to someone I don't know yet. Does that make sense? Like, I have so little spare time. Like, do you fit it in? And so a first date, oh God. And what is up with these people asking you out in the middle of the day? Do you think I have space for you during my work day?
I've never had somebody ask me out in the middle of the day.
I've had it so many times. I push them to, when men that are obviously financially wealthy and independent and don't need to work. No,
or the
opposite. They're sleeping on their mom's couch and they're unemployed.
Right. That's my MO.
But, right. Like, I have weekends and weekdays, evenings, but then you're going, well, I'm so tired after a work day. Do I want to spend the time getting to know this stranger?
Yeah.
But like, if you know they're worth it.
Yeah, that's the thing.
After a date.
Right. But you got to get past that first date to know.
I know. But do we want to fit them in our lives? They're stinky. And they're dumb. Sorry. So sorry. You are the simpler sex. I hate to tell you. You cannot create children. You cannot create life.
Like, you must have men just falling at your feet.
No, I was just showing Andrea this thing I saw on Instagram where it says that, the more independent a woman gets, or the more intelligent they are, their IQ keeps rising as they learn and grow. And if a woman's got a strong IQ or high IQ and is a very strong woman and intellectual and doing well on her own, they said on it that we've already bypassed 95% of men that are dateable because we like to have an equal IQ or greater IQ, which makes total sense to me. I'm sorry, I can't be with a dimwit.
Right.
They might be super pretty, but can't do it.
Nope. I'm the same. It's good.
So why do I want to fit in a crappy dude? I'd rather see a girlfriend, hang with my dog.
Yeah.
Hang out with, family.
Exactly. Just gonna mute that there. But yeah, I totally get what you're saying. And I think it's difficult to fit somebody into your life because, well, for so many reasons, like you said, because we don't really have the time to do it. But also, do we truly want to have them come into our lives? Number one. And number two, once they're here, what do we do with them? Once we got them.
But again, I swear that, especially if you're on an app, you're getting this idea of someone. Yeah. And then, of course, let's get a little deeper. We tend to project what we want onto someone. And when they fail to rise to that imaginary Prince Charming we've created, well, then we're bummed out. And I think,
so true. I was just going to say that's so true, because on those dating sites, how many profiles do I read that say my number one things are, faithfulness and loyalty, and I love quality time and physical touch, and I want somebody to spend the rest of my life with. And then you meet and they are all about looking for the hookup. And then if you do, and then you don't hear from them again, and you're just like, what just happened there? Because again, like you said, they're just saying exactly what they want you to hear. It's the love bombing of dating sites, and they want you to hear all this stuff, but they don't truly mean it. And I actually asked somebody that one time because they had exactly all that stuff on there. And I knew that was the total opposite of who they were. And I said, how can you put all of this stuff on here saying this is what you are when you're nothing like that? And he said, well, it's just an app. Like, you're just saying whatever on there just to talk to people. And then you go from there. And I'm like, that's amazing.
I mean, I think if we knew the guys would be good quality, good match, good fit, we'd make the space, we make the time. But I feel like I've either picked really badly or
your pickers off.
Well, yeah. I mean, I've gone on, God, I can't even imagine how many dates I've probably been on in my single life. Thousands and thousands. And majority of time, they're nothing at all what I would expect. So, I mean, for
bad
me,
way,
I think I'm
assuming you're saying in a bad way. They're nothing what you expect in a bad way.
Yeah. I mean, again, I'm back in Canada now, and the selection up here is very different.
I'm so shocked by that. I don't know why. I just would have thought it was they just seem like they'd be more on top of it. I don't know.
You think the Canadians would have their shit together?
You would think.
We don't have guns. We try to have no war. We try to be peaceful.
All your medical.
No. Yeah, exactly. We get medical. I think what I've noticed is in a lot of the areas I've been in the United States, women are the core of the family, which they are in general. But what I mean is a lot of them raise their sons with old school values. You must open car doors. You must stand up when they go to the bathroom, all that stuff. Yeah. And they buy drinks and they approach and they normally help a woman with their coat. And here you're lucky if they split the bill with you. You're lucky if they even open a door for you.
Oh my gosh.
And yeah. So when I have been at an occasional bar in Vancouver and some guys offer to buy me a drink, I'm like, you're American. And right away they're like, how do you know? I'm like, well, let's talk. No. So again, I think I've just ended something and I've decided to take a break.
You are,
yeah.
You're going to do you for a little while.
I'm going to do me.
So, okay, that's a good question because I've tried to do this thing. I've tried to do the experiment.
Oh, the break. Oh my God, Andrea, you cannot.
It was like, I know it's like a social experiment for me. I'm just like, I go, I'm going to not date for like 3 months. And then quickly that turns into 3 weeks. And then I'm like, well, it's been 3 days.
3 days.
3 days. But that comes from, I mean, me, and I am pretty independent and self-sufficient, but I genuinely enjoy the company of a man just to hang out with me. So it's really not even from like, I need a a man for sex or something like that. I just like him sitting there next to me, kind of doting on me. That's
yes, but all the men want is sex. They don't
I
want to just
know.
sit next
That's when
to
I have to
you.
shoo them out real quick. I tell them before they get here, do not bring an overnight bag. And if you show up with the overnight bag, you're out. I don't want it.
Women have got to ask themselves, what do you want?
Yeah.
Do you want to date? Do you want to spend that time making yourself look beautiful, which I love to make myself look nice,
It's fun.
and go and sit in some restaurant and have that same chitter chatter? And it's always like, what do you do? How many siblings do you have? I mean, my worst, like, dreaded question: what are your hobbies? Fuck you. I'm not like putting together
like an
little
interview
crafts anymore like I did. I know men always say, what are your hobbies? You should just go straight to the point. What sports do you play? That's what they're trying to get to. Like, do you ski?
You like the same thing as me?
Yeah. Do you rollerblade? Well, guess what? Just ask us that, because hobbies make us think like we should be basket weaving or knitting at home. Right?
People really say, what are your hobbies?
Oh, it's gross. So when I think of these things, I'm like, well, do I want to put that in my life? Like, someone asked me out yesterday and said tonight for drinks, and I just was like, oh, I'd rather spend time with my dog. It just seemed really nice. I just decided that it was, so yes, I was talking about fitting men into your life, but do you want to fit one in?
And I was just going to say to that, is it that maybe it also depends on, like we said, who it is. I mean, if he's super attractive and you've had like a great little conversation right off the bat, some little sexy banter, and then he asks you out for a drink, are you still going home to the dog?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think right now my headspace is that I'm fatigued. I'm tired. Like, I just spent almost a year with someone and it didn't work out. And to me, it's not about grieving the relationship. It's about, do I have it in me to explain my life story to someone again? So it's, of course, if it was just, hanging out with someone who, I'm just going to say something. There's a man that I have a huge crush on, and I cannot date him. He's in my industry. I don't do that. A hell of a lot younger than me.
Getting me very excited.
Oh, he's like 6'5" and beautiful.
Oh,
this is the thing. Like, I would go sit and have a drink next to him tonight because I know we're going to have great conversation. I know I'm going to feel great leaving, and then I don't have to do anything because I'm not allowed to. So I would run away.
Do you think he's feeling the same vibe?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah, I think we're both, playing with fire.
You're just kind of toying around it.
Just, doing the occasional dinner. But, again, Andrea, let's go to you.
Okay.
So I want to know, this is, I think, what I want to ask women is how, and you as well, how much space are you creating for these men? And are you going to regret giving up whatever you gave up to create that space? Because I think that's where my frustration has come from. I've always given up space and created space and always made dating a big part of my life. But then I look back and I'm like, all those times, all those days, those hours.
And where are you now?
Can't get them back.
So no, you can't. So I used to give up way more space than I do now. I will say that. So mainly after divorce, it was for me, like, I just wanted to be with somebody every day if I could. I was the serial dater for sure. I was. I'll admit it now. I wouldn't admit it then, but I'll admit it now. And I just loved it again, from the companionship, having somebody around, something for me to do. I'm fine alone, but I didn't want to be alone. So it was kind of like that, and not to mention, when I moved here to California, I mean, COVID hit. And I was like, immediately, I'm single, I'm in a new state, I'm like lost, so after that, I mean, I was like, date. Yes, please. Yes, please. I'm going out with guys, whether I think they're attractive or not, just to go out. And so for me now, that is like the total opposite, because I found hobbies that I'm enjoying, other things I'm enjoying. I'm loving doing this podcast with you, so it's giving me.
This is not a hobby.
It's not a hobby.
This is way cooler than a hobby.
Way cooler. So I'm enjoying doing this because it's giving me, I don't want to say purpose. It's not really giving me purpose. It's just giving me somewhere to let it all out. It's somewhat therapeutic. for me, so I'm enjoying that. It's making me have to step outside my comfort zone, outside my box, and kind of learn new things, with everything that I'm doing. So I'm doing that. I've just kind of been working a lot of things myself. I'm enjoying more going out with my girlfriends. And so now I'm being a lot more picky about who I am allowing into that space. And they got to be, pretty good, where I'm like, yeah, come on in.
Like, a story about the other dude last week, and I'm like, you're not learning. You're not learning.
Which one was it?
Exactly. Which dude was it?
No, they've totally minimized.
But this is something interesting. I think the biggest thing is when I left my marriage, same thing. I wanted to date right away. You're so used to companionship. You're so used to taking care of someone or cooking and or spending time with someone. But you do have to turn that inward and go, what were you needing and lacking?
Yes. And how can I fulfill that?
Because again, a lot of us
and how can I fulfill that on my own at some point too? Right.
So this is the thing I think a lot of women have to think of is, what are you lacking? And are you looking for that in that other person?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's really, really a great question. And not even just finding the time, within because you have a busy career, you're trying to do that and take care of all of that, but also where do you put them with your friends? Like if you're getting, and kids, family in itself, like when your family's wanting to do things, but you have this guy that's like, hey, I've got a free night. Would you like to do this? I know how you decide, because I should add in there, and your dog.
No. I mean, this is the thing. I always found it difficult to find a really good sitter. I just did. I didn't have a lot of support or help when I had my daughter. And I remember thinking, is this guy worth it? Because I'm going to have to spend out of pocket this much, pick up the sitter, drive them home, get myself dressed up. Is my kid going to hold on to my ankles and scream as I walk out the door? Is that going to put me in a different mood? Like, I think a lot of women really want to feel beautiful. I think a lot of women want to be told compliments. So a lot of the time we will go on dates just to receive that feed that we're hungry for. But then, is it worth spending the money on the babysitter? Are you driving yourself? Andrea, you're famous for this. Have they sent a car for you? Have they picked you up in a taxi?
Yeah.
All these things, like, how do you fit them in? How do you fit them in if you have the kids 90% of the time or 70% of the time? Like, where do you wedge them in?
Well, this is interesting, because bringing up what you just said about driving there, because I have that story of the date. Now I know which one you're talking about. I know which one you're talking
Andrea
about.
drives far.
I might drive a little bit. Yeah. For my Jack in the Box. And then for this other one more recently, and I could kind of tell this story because we're not hanging out anymore. So you're already giving me that look of, oh no, what have I done now?
I'm learning to give myself more time, and I'm giving myself better boundaries, and I'm like, no. I love you.
Well, but no. I did not on the first date, but then you and I had a little chat about it, and I did take your advice. I did not go out on a second date when he wanted to, because
let's let the audience know about a few of the finer details.
Okay. So, the first date. Yes. So had to plan. He has a very busy career. He was willing to fit me into this very busy career.
No one has that busy of a career.
However, the timing of it, we definitely had to plan it. And his plan was for 2 weeks out from the time we were talking. 2 weeks out. Now, I even said to him, hey, are we still going to chat during these 2 weeks? Because for me, it's fine, I guess, if we can't do it for 2 weeks, but let's build up to it. Let's have some conversation. Let's keep this spark going until we get there. And I'm pretty sure he said, yeah. And then I never heard from him, to the point where it came up to 2 days before the 2 weeks. And I was ready to, I just figured I wasn't hearing from him. And then of course he sends a text message, hey, are we on for Wednesday? And I'm like, by that point, I'm like, oh, God, I'm rolling my eyes. Do I really want to go now? Because the spark is gone for me. There's no connection. There's no connection. There's nothing. Again, now it's just
talking about.
Yeah. Now
the guys have to keep up the connection.
Absolutely. And he didn't. But in true Andrea fashion, she's like, let's give it a shot. Let's at least go, because I am such a good person that I feel everybody deserves a chance. And
she's a hopeless romantic, which I am too. But
I am always hoping that one is going to be the one that works out. But, I did go on the date. I did drive a good 40 minutes and come to find out he lived 5 minutes within walking distance to where we met. And I did drive.
Not putting in the effort.
Not putting in the effort.
Men.
Now he did make the reservations. I got there. I know. Well,
sorry, she's getting a lot of eye rolling right now.
Yes, because your date, you showed up at the bar. He didn't have a reservation. You were not happy about that.
I'm out.
So you were out.
Done.
See, so okay, so this guy's one up in it because he's got a reservation.
He made you drive.
He made me drive 40 minutes. Okay. And then I start doing my defending like I'm going to do. My only thing I'd say to that is it was a cool spot we were going to, because we were going to like West Hollywood. So, and he did say in his profile, which is what attracted me, is that he likes to go to hot spots and have fun and drinks and dancing and all that stuff. So we were going there. There's not much in the little town that I'm in. So I was willing to drive. So it was a good date. We had a really good date. We had a fun time. It was a very good time. So anyways, he says he wants to see me again. The next day he follows up, says, I'll throw out a few dates for you. So we're back on that track again. And I'm like, oh, here we go again. It's another 2 weeks out.
Yeah. So he's not making space for you.
He's not making space for me. He to me is somebody that's just dating just to fill his time and go out with somebody. But the funny part is it comes up to, again, closer to the 2 weeks, and he, wants to confirm. And I did the whole, it's tentative right now. And I bet that was probably the first time his reaction was like, wait, it's tentative? What do you mean it's tentative? He's probably not really had that happen before. So I'm like, yeah, I don't know, because I really wasn't sure if I wanted to go again. And I ended up telling him that I just didn't feel like our lives were conducive. It just didn't match. I'm looking for more a partner, somebody to spend my time with. And he's looking for somebody to go out on a date with 2-3 weeks out. And it totally validated what I said when he came back with this. He said, no hard feelings. If you would like to go out another time, I would love to, but just let me let you know that it would need to be in November, because I'm taking the month of December off from dating. I can't handle the drama. So otherwise it'll be in January or February.
I can't handle the drama. So I have to wait a month and go through December without dating.
Yeah.
Okay.
So a lot of things on that, because I was not the drama. I mean, me saying no was not the drama. So to me, he's dating multiple women and fitting me in. And number two, okay, so you're going to tell me, hey, I want to see you again, but let's hold off on December. Let's wait till January. That's not somebody
time out.
Yeah. I'm not feeling so chosen there. So I felt good about that.
But this is the thing, but think about it. You spend let's say almost hour. It's not, but close, driving there. Then you've got dinner, plus driving home. Plus if you don't go home, which you don't do.
I went home.
Yeah. And then even before then, if you're dressing nice or spending time and getting ready. So what, averaging out 5-6 hours in an evening for this man that you have no idea will either make you laugh or cry.
I know.
So listen,
but how are you going to find out otherwise? How are you going to find out?
I think what I'm struggling with is my last boyfriend was a friend for a really long time first.
Yeah.
I still say you should date within your friends. Like if you trust them, know them, they've already shown you who they are. If you've known them for years, maybe you never saw them in that light, and maybe you look at them in a different way and see if there's a possibility, if there's some kind of connection either on their end or your end. But I don't know if I want to just let a stranger into my house. Did you ever see Dirty John and You?
Yes.
When I watched those 2 television series that came out together, I was like, how am I going to date again? Like, this is.
I feel like there's some people that should be banned from watching that stuff, because I know as soon as you said it, that would mess you up. I know it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, again, I think, we don't talk too much about safety. Women tend to put themselves in jeopardy, but I know we're trying to talk about, fitting men in, and we're going down our rabbit holes, which we love to do. But yeah, how
we're talking about fitting the man in the hole.
Or do you even fit together?
Yeah. I don't know. I think that, you and I always have different takes on that.
You would go dirty there. I was trying to give you
the fit together. Oh,
how do you fit? Do you fit in? That was the
in the hole. I was thinking, yes. Okay. Okay. We're back on the same page. Fitting the man in the hole. Got that right. Oh my God. I laugh every time.
Don't fit.
Some men just don't fit. Yeah. We can go into the larger penis conversation again if you'd like. No. I know. I feel like I got a lot of flack on that one.
Well,
or a lot of, that's probably coming Men with small
Small
penises.
penises. Let's just be honest.
But I was just thinking of, yeah, and this is often a tangent again, but when you were just saying about safety and stuff, because you and I had a conversation not too long ago, and we were talking about, I think just like we were talking about making out, and you were like, God, I don't even want to make out with a man because you don't know where his mouth has been and where.
No. Okay. No.
Okay,
No.
you want to
gotta
clear
back
it
this up. No. Okay. I had this elderly doctor in California when I was living there. And I was telling her, I had a new partner and blah, blah, blah. Well, do you know if he's had all the tests? And I kind of asked her, I said, no, I just asked him if he was good. And he said he was good. Sometimes people think that's COVID now. That's not what I was asking. It was in the bedroom chatter of, are you healthy?
Okay.
Am I going to catch some horrible thing by lying next to you?
And you believe them just by when you ask that question and they tell you.
Maybe I'm naive, but I look at them in the eyes and I'm like, I got
Look
mum
at me
eyes.
right
Don't
here.
fuck with me. I'm going to see right through your soul. But the doctor was so funny because she goes, well, you've been making out with them. What happens if they have HSV1 herpes on the cold sores?
Yeah.
Cold sores.
Okay.
So I'm like, but you would normally see one. She goes, well, not always. And you've got to be careful who's kissing you. And I'm just like, oh my God, how old
so
are you?
She did this to you.
Oh no, I kiss men. Believe me, I like to kiss men. I haven't kissed a man in a while now, but I like to kiss men. I used to go out at night to a cool lounge and I would pick a random guy and just smush him against the wall and make out with him.
Have you made out with a bad kisser?
Oh,
it's horrible, right?
But what's up with the tongue that just lies on your tongue? It's like a dead fish.
Yeah, exactly.
Or the dart,
yep.
like the snake.
When they go in and out. Yep. Or
like
the ones that almost like a guppy and they're doing, they're just coming in with their or
the ones that want to choke you with their tongue going straight down your throat.
Straight down your throat, or they lick your entire face.
No. I've actually pulled a guy away from my face and said, no. And he goes, what? No, what? I said, no, you need to practice kissing. And I was like, do you want me to give you a lesson or are you going to go learn somewhere else? He's like, no, go ahead. So
and he let you teach him?
Taught him how to kiss.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm like, do not move. I will do all the work. And then you slowly come in there. But that sounds really dirty. Anyways, So I was going to say, are we still talking about fitting in and how you make room for your family?
I think just went the fitting in different.
Yeah. Is different kind of fitting
different kind of fitting in.
Is it snug?
Is there room for improvement?
Oh my gosh.
It's terrible. Okay. You were going to say,
I think, if it was a beautiful person that I'd known and trusted, like I said, like a friend that I turn into a lover, I would love to make space for someone like that. I just, between apps and how people are, I normally can tell when someone approaches or even on an app, what they're saying to me, what they're looking for and what they're needing. Yeah. Oh my gosh. I know what I wanted to say. What? So have you guys seen that meme on Instagram? It's that woman that like holds out her hand and there's this beautiful new engagement ring and she's smiling. And then all of a sudden she blinks and she's scrubbing the floors and holding screaming children and doing dishes and the house is a mess. And then she kind of shakes her head and takes off the ring as like, let's be real here.
Oh, that's what she's seeing. She's envisioning that when she has the ring on.
Well, because first she's all happy that she's engaged.
Yeah.
And then some bright woman is like, this is the reality of when you get married.
Sets in. Yeah.
I would love to have a husband that cleaned and cooked and I could do what I wanted. And, but let's be real. We're talking about fitting in, but are you doing too much? Are you giving up too much space in your life? Are you giving too much? Like we were talking about, Andrea and I are both nurturers. We like to make them feel at home and, fed and laundry's done, honey.
Yeah. We like to take care of them.
But what is it doing for us?
Nothing. Our tank is empty. Theirs is completely full and ours is completely
why
empty.
Do we want them in our spaces?
Just for the filling in the hole. That's it.
Most of them don't know how to do it anyway. So what's the point? Let's be honest, ladies. How often do we have to help ourselves? Especially when they get up to go pee or get up to go do something. You're like grabbing the vibrator from your side table. Like
real quick before they get back.
Right. So what, you guys, what are we thinking we're going to get? Because I think a lot of the times we think, again, we've projected this image. We've projected if we meet someone, this is how they're going to treat us. this is how we're going to feel. I thought about it the other day. How many times has that actually been true? Maybe 4 times in my life. Like I'm talking, the other ones have been fine. They've been good. They were nice people, or we got along as friends, but was the chemistry there? Was the banter there? I always find you're missing 1 or 2 of the main things. Like, do you have the friendship? Do you have the intimacy? Do you have the trust?
But can you truly have all of that, do you think, and still have the attraction to them and the friendship and the
I would like to think so. Yeah. If it's an unhealthy attraction, that's lust. That's very different than love.
Yeah.
Lust doesn't last. We know that. So yeah, I think it's possible. And I've had that a couple of times in my life, and it just, unfortunately, didn't work out. Plus, I don't think I was good with settling.
Yeah.
And I don't mean that in a negative way. I'm not trying to say that. Well, actually, I should say a lot of if you look online, supposedly 75 to 78 of us settle, which is really sad. So a lot of people are fitting in people they shouldn't.
Yeah, absolutely. I refuse to settle right now. I'm not settling for any less than what I want. I want it all.
The next date, I want you to have a list of demands, and I want you to see if he matches them.
If he matches all of them, that's a really great experiment. I need to do that. I need to
see if he offers to drive you.
See
if he gets up when you go to the washroom. See if he grabs the bill. Let's make sure he doesn't order for you. Things like that.
So I had a date recently, and it was a very good date, and he'd probably be very upset when we were talking about this, because he's like, "You're not going to talk about it on the air, are you?" And I'm like, "Nah."
Yes.
Okay. Yes, of course.
You're material, dude.
I know. I just didn't want him to think it at the moment. So, but it was a lot of good things. It was a lot of good things, actually. He did do the bill. He did make the plans. We met, because I don't really like to meet too close to my home, because I don't want them to think they're coming over after either. So I like to go a little bit of a distance, a meet in the middle. That was great. I loved that. He was attractive. He opened the door for me. I mean, a lot of good things.
But it's a distance because you wouldn't take him home. Maybe it's for you just as much.
No, it was my suggestion, actually. Yeah, I wanted to because he actually offered to come here. And I was like, I really try to move it out a little bit. Because I don't even want that temptation for myself to bring him home.
That's what I just said.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That it is for me. Yeah, totally. Yeah. So,
well, as long as you're putting yourself first.
In every way. Yeah, that's good. Well, I don't know what the true answer is to that. I think that's going to be everybody's own desire, whether they think they can fit them into their lives, around a career, around family, around friends, and around themselves in their own personal time. But I think that's all just a journey. Don't you think? I mean,
of course,
because right now you're making time for yourself, and so at some point you're going to want to date again, I hope.
Yeah, I want to date, but good dudes.
Yeah, but you're not going to find the dude in your apartment there.
I don't just stay inside 24 hours a day. I go out all the time.
Oh, you go out.
I just don't want to do it on an app. I find app is it's like Amazon for the opposite sex or the same sex, whatever your preference is.
And I feel like somebody said once, I'm going to paraphrase it because I don't want to say it wrong, but they said something like, the man that you're looking for, the successful, driven, ambitious, all those good things kind of man, you're not going to find him on a dating app. He's out there living his life and he's doing his thing. And that's where he is. He's not sitting on a dating app.
Well, I've met some very successful men that are good men on a dating app, but I'm not discounting what you're saying. I'm saying that for me, I've had good experiences. It's like, again, we were talking about fitting in. Does he fit in with your family? Does he fit in with your kids? Does he fit in? We're not even talking about schedules anymore. Let's say you make the schedules work. Can he fit in with your kids or your friends? Like I've taken guys out with some of my best friends and the whole thing's awkward because you can just tell they don't either like him or are worried for me or, you know what I mean? So we were talking about fitting in and then fitting in your life space.
Yeah. I do that with my kids too. I think about when I'm out with somebody, I picture them being with my kids. Cause I told you my kids and I like to sit around. We like to watch Bachelor together. We joke, we laugh, we do all these things together. And there's only certain people that have been able to fit into that and kind of, not looking at us like we're crazy or judging us, they're just there having a good time. So that's
let's say you meet a dream guy for you
Mhm.
and he fits into your schedule. You guys have a successful time. Then he meets your kids
Yeah.
and things seem to be going pretty good. So then you spend more time together. And then all of a sudden you realize you go to bed at 10, he goes to bed at 2 a.m.
Yeah.
Either wants you to stay up or you're trying to get him to come to bed early. I've
Mhm.
had this experience. You can find a dream guy. And then this
Right.
one thing like sleep, which you think should be no big deal, is a huge deal. If
Yeah.
your times don't match up, like it doesn't have to be exact. I mean, if you want to go to bed at 9 and he wants to go to bed at 11, that's not a big difference.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it still creates different, like it still creeps one's up watching TV or doing something. One wants to
I've
rest.
had that.
So it always makes me laugh of like, I love dating. I love
Yeah.
men. I know I will go back to dating soon. But you go through all these stages where you finally find someone you think is great and either they don't fit in with the kids or you just realize your lifestyle is like so different. Let's say they don't watch television at all. I watch
Yeah.
so much television.
Yeah.
I just want to find a cookie cutter version of me and a male. The events.
It's not too much to ask for at all.
No, right?
No.
The app should be
Oh.
more accurate with, all your likes and dislikes.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? I saw recently, I think it is a thing, a new dating site app where you can only be talking to one person at a time. Have you seen that? That's
No,
pretty
but I
wild.
wouldn't do that. That
You
would feel
wouldn't?
weird.
Well,
because
yeah.
it's kind of like Bachelor in Paradise. Have you ever seen the show?
Oh, always.
You're focused on one and then someone else comes to the beach.
Yep.
If you know the show. And then
Next
you're like,
shiny
your
object.
eyes click over. To me, I would think that this one is staring at me, but I'm not sure how great they feel.
Mhm.
So my mind would be going, who's would be next if I let them?
That's a good point.
It's not because I'm not happy with what I'm getting in the meantime. It's just if someone said to me, you get one guy, walk outside and pick someone, that's all you get. I wouldn't be okay with that. I need to see a group of different men, different looks, different vibes, talk to them. My girlfriend the other day, I went on for one day and then I canceled it. But it was just wild to see how some men talk to women and some others talk very differently.
Yeah.
And so it just reminded me very quickly. Plus, everybody was the same. Like I haven't been here for almost 3 years and the same single men are on the same app with some of the same pictures. And you're like, okay, dude.
Okay. Yeah. Cause that's how
And I
you
was calling them
recognize them,
out.
right?
I was calling them out. Like
You
when
are?
I didn't even want to match with them. Like, by the way, I saw you on here about 4 years ago. You might want to update pictures. Thanks.
Do you wish you could actually say something to their picture at the like there's so many times when it's going through and I just want to go, seriously, like, why are you in a picture with like top of your head's cut off? You're like wearing a mask. You've got your dog. There's 2 other people behind you. I don't even know who I'm looking at. I want to just say that without having to match with them to tell them.
Yeah. One of my favorite things is when guys photograph with all these hot women. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? Don't post a picture of you with all these hot women around you.
Show me what you can get.
Oh God, maybe that's what it is. Look the kind of women I can get.
I'm reeling in.
Do you fit in this mold?
See, they're seeing if they can fit us in. That's what they're doing. Right. Oh, well, how do you sum that up? I don't know. Everybody to each his own, I guess. And you just got to figure out where to work them in, really.
But create space for something that's worth it. And if going and meeting new people is worth it to you, awesome. That's great. I used to thrive off it. I'm just too tired right now.
Yeah.
I'd rather know I'm going to have a good time. Are you a good time?
That's going to be your thing on your profile.
My slogan.
That's it. Are you a good time?
You a good time? Will you waste my time or will you be a good time? Do you fit? Wink, wink.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that's it. I think you should adjust your profile today.
That's it. I'm doing it. Yep. Well, that's awesome. Thank you so much for joining me today, Michelle. It was very fun to chat with you about that. And everybody, you just need to see if you can fit someone in or if you even want to. I love fitting my girl Michelle in, so that's my jam. Well, thank you guys for listening today. You can follow me on Instagram and TikTok at From Mrs. to Ms. You can find me by email at info@FromMrs.to Ms.net. If you have anything you want to chat about, I'd love to hear from you. And you can listen on any major streaming platform. So thank you once again for joining, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye.